Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video about Games Workshop's Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar. You could apply that to any of this as well. Just a kind of quick video on pricing and getting started, and just all around. Where do I get in? How do I get in? How much does it cost? I have a lot of friends who play this game. I have a lot of friends who don't play this game. Primarily, the people who play this game love this game for what it is. A lot of times it's mainly the models, the fluff, the stories, the codexes, just the lure of the world of 40k. Warhammer 40k has been around a long time, and they have had years and years and years, 25 plus years, to build a strong history foundation. If there is an army or a faction or a character that you like, there are probably books written about that character. And it's not just written by random artists or random writers or whatever. Games Workshop's very careful in controlling the narrative content of their property, which, a lot of people don't like, but if you think about it, it breeds consistency, right? So like the character Azrael from the Dark Angels, for example, or Ragnar Blackmane from the Space Wolves. The books you pick up and read about those characters ties into the fluff in most of the codexes that have been written with those characters in it. Which is also, if you play video games and you play like Dawn of War or whatever video game it was, that character is the same. It hasn't been changed for artistic properties or like free reign artist license or whatever. Like when an artist takes something and go, I want to make the Punisher, but I'm going to give him a pink star on his chest instead of a skull because it's scary, or whatever. Ragnar Blackmane has been Ragnar Blackmane from the very beginning. Azrael's been Azrael from the very beginning. Abaddon the Despoiler, very beginning, same character. They've developed over the years, and things like that, but they're still the same characters. So property-wise, intellectual property, they keep a hold of their characters really close, and the storylines and the fluff. Some of the stuff's changed here and there, like where the orcs come from, but for the most part, they keep a good lock on their licensing. But what I wanted to focus on was their new / old line of getting started, or start collecting box sets for Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar. This here, these figures here belong to the Getting Started Chaos Space Marine box set. Now, they, on the Games Workshop's website, it's like $85, for the box. You can get it on the internet for like $75 shipped. $75 shipped. When I started, really, there was nothing like that. You bought your box sets separately, your squads of guys separately. Now, they're still like that. You can still do that. That's the way it always has been, probably the way it always will be. But these sets gave you a good foundation for army building if you were interested in doing that, and a good variety of models to put into that army for a really good price. And yeah, you think, well, they're not getting, they're not giving you anything for free or whatever. Of course not. But you are getting these for a good price. Considering what those models costed individually, you're actually saving some money. May not be a lot in some boxes, maybe more in some than others, but the bottom line is you're saving money. There's a way to get into this game without really breaking your bank. And I know it's an expensive game, it's an expensive hobby, but hobbies in general are expensive. I have RC hobbies that cost me hundreds of dollars just in repairs or upkeep. I play airsoft. Just the gear alone, and the weapons and the BBs, and that stuff adds up. Those hobbies are expensive. I don't know of many hobbies that aren't aside from, you know, freehand painting and drawing and things like that. Drawing, you just need a pencil and paper if you're that basic. But I guarantee you, if you're an artist, which I am, and I know artists, you're not just going to have a piece of paper and a pencil. No number 2 pencil is going to do for you. We all know that. Mechanical pencils, you know, drafting pencils, drafting tablets, you know, rulers, erasers. We don't just buy the basic stuff. Sure you can, but you don't. So for miniature game wargaming, you know, Games Workshop, you know, they've had times where really overpriced, and some of their stuff is still. I feel like some of their stuff is still overpriced, you know. But then again, I look back and some of the things that they have are very well priced. I just recently bought a box of Renegade Knights for the cost of one night, plus $20. I got 2 knights and a big piece of scenery that I individually priced before I did this purchase. And this is another example. This box right here, this is the Start Collecting Chaos Space Marine box. You get 10 Marines, 10 Chaos Space Marines, which, you know, don't be fooled. These are the very first full-on plastic Chaos Space Marines. So these guys came out in the early 2000s, you know, no doubt. I'm not fooled by any magic. I mean, this guy here, I bought a set of Forge World autocannons, you know, from Forge World, so it's legit. And I put it on a group of Space Marines that I got from my Chaos Army. This is just one of them, you know, because you can either have autocannons or heavy bolters, and I chose to have an autocannon, you know, instead of, you know, a heavy bolter and a special weapon. I just, you know, boom. This is the Chaos Lord and Terminator armor, the updated version, which is again another expensive model by itself. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, it's not justifiable, or it is justifiable. I justify it because it's something I wanted to finish my collection. You see that these models are painted differently is because these are going to a different faction of my army. You know, I have a whole different Chaos Army that these 2 models have been dedicated to, because that box had allowed me the ability to fill in the spaces that I had for certain armies. You know, it wasn't just, for me, it wasn't just, this is how I'm going to start. This was, oh cool, I can finish this off for a fraction of the cost it would cost me for these 3 guys. Probably wouldn't buy them separately. I'd just be like, oh well, I'm just going to have that huge hole in the army because I don't want to buy those guys for $35, you know, or $60 or $40, you know. I paid $75 and saved a you know, a good chunk of money, and I got to fill in the blanks where those armies needed, you know, coverage. You know, I also have a Tyranid army, same thing. You know, when I started the Tyranids way back in the day, which I believe was a Wednesday, I started with a battle box, or battle forces, what they used to call these sets. They were called battle forces. You got the same thing. You got the basic troop choice, maybe an HQ or elite choice, and maybe some other random, whether it's heavy weapon, fast attack, or whatever it was. This is a good start, as those were. They just rebranded them and called them, Start Collecting boxes. This was a good start to Warhammer 40k. You could actually double this box up, and you would have everything you needed, you know, to have a fieldable force. You know, you could turn this guy either into a sorcerer or a Chaos Lord, or just a regular Chaos Lord. So you could have 1 HQ, 1 elite, 2 troop choices, and 2 heavy support choices. And you could these are full kits. So you get every part that comes with this kit. So it's not missing anything. It's not shorter or smaller because it's in a bundle. You actually get the full kits for each one of these. So this kit could actually be armed with the plasma cannon, with the heavy bolter, with the multi-melta, with the rocket launcher, with the hammer, with the tentacle thingy. I don't even know what it is. You could have it with 2 power fists. You know, whatever you wanted to do, you could build this kit that way, which made this an extremely valuable kit. Makes these extremely valuable. And it's like that with all the other kits too. Every single one of those kits, you know, because I've actually bought several of recent, and I've had tons of them in the past. You know, every army I've ever started, I started with those kits. because they give you the bare bones for what you need to just play the game. You could actually now, in the new 8th edition of Warhammer 40k, this is a fieldable force. You can use it in open play, you can use it in the PowerPoints, you can use it in narrative play. Match play? No, you need another troop choice. If you're going with match play, you need another troop choice, minimum. But this is a fieldable force in any other version of the game. That's all you need. If you wanted to get into 40k, you're like, oh, the price. That's the biggest complaint I've ever heard since I started my endeavor in Warhammer 40k. It's too expensive. It's too expensive. It's not worth it. Those models ain't that good looking, and some of them weren't. I have models that I just can't stand looking at just because they were not attractive models. But I understand the process. It was an artist sculpting, did a mold, put the model out. I get it. Now we have a whole different process for creating models. The detail on these model kits have become industry's top standard. Now, and I say industry because I'm not saying like there aren't companies that do better looking models. That's out there. There are companies that produce resin or other model kits that just look phenomenal. But you're paying for one model, you're paying an expensive price. As an industry of gaming, they're the top. They're the top of the bar. They're the only company that produces every single thing you need to get involved in this game. Books, paper, utensils, paints, miniatures, books, army books, scenery, paintbrushes, spray paint, everything you need. So getting started in this game is not as hard as it used to be, and it's not as complex as some people may make excuses for. It's just a matter of priority, right? What you want to do. You either want to get involved in this game or you don't. It's as simple as that. Price wise, I would suggest getting the getting started boxes or start collecting boxes if there's one for your army. And if if you're going this route, that's a good place to start. Unless you have, you're a seasoned player, seasoned builder, you already know what you want, where to get it, and this isn't it, then you don't go with this set. You go with what you know and what you're going to get. But if you're getting started and you want to play a quick game of Warhammer, this is a good way to go. If you already know, yes, I do want to play Warhammer, I do like Chaos Space Marines, this is what you would want to do. If you're not sure what you want to play, I would suggest going to a store, maybe getting in on some games, watching some games. Anybody who plays 40k, for the most part, is willing to say, hey, saddle up, you can play these guys. I'll show you how. There are people I've met that have been negative and they don't want to do that, and that's fine, that's their business and they're right. But you will be hard pressed to not find somebody that's willing to play this game with you or show you how this works in the simplest form. So that's just my thoughts on the 40k getting started or start collecting or battle force, whatever you want to call it, box sets for this game. Thanks for watching.